Tom Izzo, kind enough to join us, the great coach from Michigan State. His team 22-9 beat Ohio State. Next game, either Ohio State and Purdue Friday in the Big Ten tournament. Coach, thanks for joining us. What have you been told about the coronavirus?
Well, Dan, I just listened to what you said, and I thought you did it in a very professional and good way, and a human way. I just met with my team to talk about, how we're right now still going. I don't know what will happen in hours to come, but how it's just immediate family and just all the things. And I'm starting to agree with you. I don't know what is best. I'm leaving it to the experts. We've gone through a lot this year, a lot of different things that have happened, and yet this is a whole nother beast that I sure don't. I'm not an expert on, and I'm just kind of waiting and seeing like everybody else.
What if the Big Ten asked you your opinion?
Well, it would have been a couple days ago, if I was to be honest with you, where I would have said, "Hey, let's play the games," and now I'm looking at it and saying, it sure is starting to lean towards maybe it'd be best if things were postponed or canceled, but. Again, the problem for me, Dan, is, I hate the social media, and the social media goes crazy on things, and half you hear and see is never true. So I just got to look at the experts in the health field, and whatever they tell us sounds like a canned answer, but that's kind of the area that I would lean towards.
What are you going to tell your kids?
I'm going to tell them, I just told them, I said, listen, we've dealt with adversity of a suicide. We've dealt with the adversity of losing our second-best player for the year. We've dealt with one of our guys, Xavier Tillman's wife, had a baby a day after a Maryland game. It's been one of those years where we've had to deal with some tragedy and some joy, but always distractions of some kind, and we've got to approach this the same way. If they tell us we're playing, we got to play, and we got to try to focus in on the task at hand. And if they tell us we're not, then we deal with that.
What about playing in front of an empty arena?
It'll remind me of my Division II days back with Mariucci. I did that a lot. So I probably am one of the few Division I coaches that has that experience. But I don't know. Somebody brought it up to us. We scrimmaged Gonzaga this year in Denver. We kind of met there, and we did it kind of in an empty arena. And I mean, it's different, but once the game gets started, it's like everything else. Once the game gets started, it's about the game, and but at this magnitude, I don't know how that'll feel, but if that's the best way to do it, the safest way to do it, I'm all in.
Yeah, but we might hear some things from you.
No, like I said, I've been a Division II coach for 1 year. I've been a high school coach for one, but hey, what you see is what you get. There's no surprises. It's whether you want to carry those things on TV is the key.
Yeah, I also wonder if we would postpone this. There are schools trying to qualify for the NCAA tournament. There are schools trying to improve their seeding here. But,
right.
The Ivy League just canceled theirs and said, Yale, you go forward and, good luck. Could we get to the point where you just say the regular season champ is going to be representing the Big Ten, and then these games, you're not going to have games where you can go, okay, that's going to help you qualify for the tournament or improve your seeding?
Well, I think it's possible. I think right now, for the most part, most of the bigger schools, I think we know who the 5, 6, 8, 9 schools are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think where it's a problem is those schools as Ivy Leagues that their tournament champ is the only one that gets in, the one-bid leagues. And whether they could do that, I don't know. I think they could. I still think you could come up with a selection show and everything, but is it a week from now? Is it going to be any different? I guess that's what I have no clue of.
Yeah, and that's where I just think applying caution to this and trying to figure out what is really best for everybody involved, and not just this sport, but all of the sports, because It's a gathering. It's a celebration. We're very fortunate in this country to have these opportunities. But I also think that this is such a bigger picture here. And if you postpone the tournament, I hope they don't cancel it. But if you all I would want is a 2-week period here, Coach, where we can just say, okay, how big is this? How bad is this? How concerned? Just pushing it back to me would probably make the most sense.
Well, Dan, for a guy that sometimes I listen to you because I do watch your show, I do listen to you every now and then, more and more now than then, believe it or not. And I've always had great respect for you. I think a lot of times you kind of find ways to joke with me and this and that, and the serious side of you I think is right on the money. You know, I think the biggest thing is it's all happened so fast. And then when it gets into social media, how do we know what's right and wrong? We've got to let the professionals figure that out, give them a little bit of time so they're not under these deadlines of, do you play a game at noon, do you do this, do you do that? Don't worry about any of those things. Do what's best for our society. And I think that's what you're saying, and I think hell, I'd vote for you for president on that statement.
Well, full disclosure, Coach K was busy, so that's why we called you. just to.
Now you're back to normal. You know what? That's the deal with some freaky things that happen. You got to get back to normalcy.
Yeah.
Dan Patrick just did it.
Yeah, and then Calipari was busy. Boeheim was busy too.
Hey, the guy at Northern Michigan, where I used to play, is busy too. So let's cover the whole gambit of people, and we don't have to worry about it. But I do appreciate you, and I appreciate, even talking about it. I wish I was an expert in it. I think I'm an expert on a lot of things. I'm probably an expert on few, but this is one I have no expertise on.
Coach, good luck against either Ohio State or Purdue on Friday. We appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, Dan.
That's Michigan State head coach Tom Izzo.